Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. So anyways guys, I know I have been absent for the longest time and I can explain. The last time I think you and I saw each other was around my birthday in July, just sharing with you guys how my birthday went and the wonderful messages that I've gotten from you guys. I still highly appreciate it. But anyways guys, the reason why I'm doing this video because there are some explanations that I need to do because there are a lot of stuff that is going on in South Africa right now. South Africa is going through a lot, and I have mentioned on this very channel before that South Africa is going through some propaganda. I mean, whether the propaganda is coming from white people, coming from the US, or coming from Europe, or coming from wherever, basically trying to paint South Africa in a bad light for whatever reason. I mean, I can suspect some of the reasons why South Africa may be a target, probably of the West, because of the stance that we have taken on geopolitics, especially when it comes to the issue of the Middle East. You know what I'm talking about. I don't want to mention names of countries where South Africa went, like literally went um, on a mission to go to court to take a specific country to court, and that specific country happens to be a friend with the United States and all the other NATO and Western countries. And as a result of that, I feel like there's some kind of unleashing of animosity towards South Africa that we are experiencing. And of course, you know, in a situation like this, money is always going to be used. People are going to be used, especially people coming from outside of our boundaries called South Africa. I mean, I have mentioned before that South Africa, if you have to speak about the true United Nations, that will be South Africa, because we have everybody that is in South Africa. Everybody is in South Africa. When I say everybody, I'm talking about probably almost every nation is here in South Africa. To the biggest shock of our lives, about 2 months ago, two Mexicans. I mean, whoever thought that Mexicans will be in South Africa to do what? That's the question we were asking ourselves. But, well, they were here doing what they are sort of famous for. And I'm not saying the whole of Mexico is like that. These are drug cartels caught in South Africa. And you know what they did? They became very smart by going to a province that no one will ever think that you would find South Americans there. But what they found there is a whole factory of drugs being manufactured worth hundreds of millions of rands, probably hundreds of millions of dollars. And the South African intelligence got hold of that, arrested two. We don't believe that these two Mexicans that are operating that particular plantation. There could be more across the country. Just when we were thinking two Mexicans are in South Africa, the manufacturing drugs, then we discover that there's a whole military camp by Libyans, 95 Libyans that were busy conducting military training in another province, which some South Africans call it the black hole of South Africa, which is the Mpumalanga province. They were so strategic that nobody is going to pay attention to that province because it's a quiet province, and they were running a military base there. Imagine a whole nation comes and plants a military base in another country. And not only these are just people. We know what's going on in Libya. And not only Libya is Libya, but it's also an Islamic state. And I'm not saying anything about Islamic people being dangerous or anything. But the thing is, with what we already know with Al-Qaeda, ISIS, and Hezbollah, you name them, Al-Shabaab, Boko Haram, should I go on? We know what some of these guys are involved in, and yet they are in South Africa training militarily. What were they going to do to us? Is the question that we're asking ourselves. And then not only are we dealing with that, we are also dealing with Nigerians. And again, I'm not saying all Nigerians are like this, but we have suspiciously about 800,000 Nigerians in South Africa. And the majority of them are undocumented, meaning they did come to South Africa legally as visitors. And then, because they knew what they were coming to South Africa for, they overstayed their welcome. As a result, their visas expired. But you know what they did? They inserted themselves into the South African society with bad intentions. Of course, you already know that South Africa is known to be a country, one of the African countries that are scammers. South Africans are not scamming people. We don't have that type of intelligence because we were never open like that to the world, because we just recently, 30 years ago, just got into democracy. And we are seeing cash in transit heists. This is where a vehicle that transports money from a business to the bank or whatever the case might be, they are being bombed, they are being pushed out of the roads, and the people inside, those security officers, they get shot and killed, and then they take all that money. Once again, that is not a crime that a South African will do, and I'm not protecting South Africans, because let me tell you something, some of these criminals have recruited South Africans. Now, the problem is where a South African becomes a bit stupid is that they are documented because they are legally South African citizens and all of their biometrics are in the systems in Pretoria, while the foreign national, like a Nigerian or a Zimbabwean or a Ugandan or Malawian, all these are Bangladeshis and Pakistanis. Can you imagine? We have Pakistanis and Bangladeshis in Africa. Think about that. And they are all illegal in this country. And of course, because they are undocumented, when they commit crimes of kidnapping, suddenly South Africa has kidnappings. That has never been a South African crime. We never kidnap people for ransom. Never, ever, ever, ever. But that crime is increasing in South Africa. The crime of stealing little kids, I'm talking 5-year-old children, are getting kidnapped. Right now, there are hundreds of women, mothers, looking for their children, their baby girls. They can't find them. But I'll tell you where those kids are. They've been trafficked for prostitution in places probably like the United States, like in India, probably even in the Middle East, and everywhere else where these people that kidnap our children, who happen to be Nigerians, by the way, because every time they get caught, there is always Nigerians involved in that crime. I know I am putting myself at being attacked by Nigerians that are going to come in my comment section, and those that sympathizes with Nigerians and thinking that Nigerians are being singled out and or whatever. I just don't care. I've gone to that point where I don't care, because South Africans have been quiet for so long. We've been quiet for so long. The moment we twitch, the world labels us as xenophobic when we are fighting for our communities. You know what this channel is about. This channel is about uniting the African diaspora. And by uniting the African diaspora, it means also the other countries on the African continent need to get onto this bandwagon and bridge whatever it was done to us as the Black nation all over the world. But there are people who are adamant in making sure that this does not happen because they don't care about Black people. Now, South Africa is being called Afrophobic. When we say, listen, guys, wait, no more. We are being called Afrophobic. We are being called xenophobic. And the Western media, once again, I'm coming back to what South Africa stands for. Remember, South Africa is almost like Geneva. When it comes to global issues like where there are wars and what, we never take a side. We believe in sitting down around the round table and talking and coming up with a compromise that is going to benefit both sides. That's the position that we've always taken. And if a bully out of the two comes out of it, then we are going to call the bully out. So now the Western media is painting South Africa as xenophobic, Afrophobic. South Africans hate other Africans. And yet the same Africans that we're supposed to love are kidnapping our children, killing women, and turning teenage girls into prostitutes, and then dragging 11-year-old. I went to an old boys school here in Johannesburg. Now, this is what I recently found out. The school in the neighborhood where my school is at in Johannesburg, tell me why now it's filled with Nigerians who are selling drugs. Because the aim is to sell drugs to my school. Fortunately, I come from a school that also has its own intelligence. We got psychologists, we got psychiatrists, we got nurses, and we have our own intelligence that looks after the boys. So now, from what I have understood, these Nigerians have tried to penetrate into the school, and every time when they do that, they get arrested. They are there around that neighborhood where my school is at. Why? Because they want to sell drugs to the boys of the school I went to. And the boys of the school that I went to, they start from the age 11 all the way to about 17, 18 years old. So already they want to fuck up their future. By the time they are done with school, if they ever finish school, they will just be useless members of society. Possibly nuisance to the society of South Africa. Now you're telling me I, as a black person, I need to love that black person who's killing fellow black, not even killing fellow black, but killing the future of black kids in South Africa. I'm supposed to love that. And then come the Pan-Africanists. I know Pan-Africanism is a great concept. Trust and believe me when I tell you, it is a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful concept that I feel every black person should support. However, I have suspended my support for Pan-Africanism. I'm being honest with you guys. I'm going to be brutally honest with you guys. I have suspended my support for Pan-Africanism because you know why? It seems like Pan-Africanism is only relevant when South Africans have to bend backwards. No one else is bending backwards. The moment the South Africans stand up straight, they tell you are xenophobic, bend backwards. And then we have to bend backwards so that we are shut down. We are not allowed to say anything. We're not allowed to complain. The moment we do complain, we are called xenophobic, Afrophobic. And right now, because South Africans have taken a position to say, we're going to embrace and use these words as badge of honors, now they've come in with a whole new campaign saying that South Africans are lazy. South Africans are lazy. South Africans are lazy, and yet South Africans who built this country, for them to come here and thrive, whether they are thriving in drug trafficking, whether they are thriving in businesses, because there are those that are here legitimately and legally and contributing to the economy of South Africa. It just so happens they're a drop in the ocean though. The rest, they are taking from South Africans. And then they turn around and say South Africans are lazy. And another brutal honesty here is white people that own businesses here in South Africa, they are happy with having illegal foreigners in South Africa. And I did say this before, that they exploit them because you don't have proper papers or proper visa, and they will hire you. No questions asked. It has come to a point where when a South African and a foreign national go for the same job, whether it's being a waiter at a restaurant or being a domestic worker in somebody's suburban house or being a street sweeper, municipal workers, some of them have even gone inside of our government, employed. You know how they got employed? Because they stole South Africans' identity. I haven't even gotten there yet. The things that South Africa is going through. We are realizing as well as South Africans that we have been sleeping, especially with our systems. Anyways, when our systems were created, we never anticipated this. We always thought that everybody that comes in and out of our country, they are doing so in good faith. There's no way that we have to worry about our systems. But they came and corrupted our systems. Now, you would have in South Africa where we deal with immigration, it's called Home Affairs. It's the Department of Home Affairs. The Department of Home Affairs is the one that looks after the nation's identity document, whether it's travel, identity, immigration, all that stuff. It's called Home Affairs. Now, this upsets me so much because the people that I am mostly angry with is not the foreign nationals. It's the people that work at Home Affairs. They have sold our country and they are putting us in this situation where now some of us are like, I find myself between a rock and a hard place. I am busy on this channel saying, hey, let's do this together, all that stuff. And then there are those that are saying, fuck that. We are going to destroy South Africa. And once we are done with South Africa, we move to the next country and the next country. Any country that liberates itself and become progressive, guess what they do? They go there. We even have countries here on the continent. I know I'm all over the places because I'm trying to calm down. I'm trying not to dwell too much on the point that is raising my anger as well. Countries like the Seychelles don't want Nigerians there no more. Nigerians used to enjoy visa-free entry into the Seychelles. Now, the Seychelles intelligence discovered that, no, these people are committing fraud. Can you imagine Seychelles being part of a gray list? A small little island here in the southern Africa is on the gray list. South Africa is in the gray list. If you don't understand what this gray list thing is, I suggest that you Google it. And you should ask yourself, how did this happen? Of course, the same thing is not only happening in South Africa, it's happening in the US, it's happening in Canada, it's happening in Italy, it's happening in the UK, it's happening in Germany, it's happening in Ireland. Look at what's going on all of those countries. Then it happened in Hungary, Poland, it happened, and they are closing their borders and they are, devaluing the passport of Nigerians. Because I'm calling on Nigerians because they are the biggest culprit here in South Africa, followed by Zimbabweans, unfortunately. Not all Zimbabweans, again, are bad people. They are great and law-abiding Zimbabweans, but you have those brutal ones, the ones that come from the army. They are the ones that are committing cash in transit heists in South Africa. They are using their military trainings in doing what they are doing. There are those that are hijacking, and when they hijacking has always existed in South Africa, but when a South African does hijacking, they don't take your life. They just want the car. They'll point a gun at you and just tell you, listen, Mfowethu, all we want is the car. Get out. And then you get out. These ones, you'll be lucky if you came home in one piece. Lucky. So now, we now have the label of South Africa is the most dangerous country in the world. The most dangerous country in the world. And it's true. Very true. But look at the people that are committing these crimes. I saw there was crime statistics that were released about a few weeks ago. And Nigerians were dancing, like seriously celebrating, saying not even one Nigerian is mentioned on the list. But they are forgetting that these Nigerians, they get arrested. But when they get arrested, this is another part that really drives me up the wall. They pay South African police money. They just say, listen, get rid of the docket. Here's 10,000 rand or here's 20,000 rand. And our stupid police officers that are corrupt take the money, take the docket, throw it away. Of course, when the crime stats are read, there are not going to be Nigerians that are mentioned because they bought their freedom when they got caught. How many of them in South Africa, all the crimes that are being committed when it comes to prostitution, when it comes to drug trafficking, drug manufacturing, done by Nigerians. But you will not find them in our jails currently. Why? Because they corrupted our police. That is why Mexico has looked at South Africa and seen it as lucrative. Why? Because the South African police service is useless. This is the best place to plant ourselves and slowly get into the police system corrupted, and then start with politicians all the way to the president. Next thing, South Africa is Colombia. That is exactly what things, if you look at them, are moving towards. Now, South Africans say, no, we are not going to be Colombia. We are not going to be Colombia. We refuse. But we are being called xenophobic when we say that. We are being called xenophobic when we say that. So it's been difficult for me to create videos and come here and talk the usual talk about how you and I and all of us need to bridge the gap that was deliberately created some 500-600 years ago. How are we supposed to do that? But just because we are having these issues with the illegal, and it's very important that people understand this, we are talking about illegal people, people that are difficult to find when they commit a crime. There are so many of them. The police, they will investigate. My house was broken into. They found fingerprints, but the person is not on the system, or the people are not in the system. But they wiped me clean of my valuables. So now, as a South African, I'm supposed to say, oh yeah, it's okay. Yo, Ubuntu, yeah, come steal some more. Kill me if you have to. Because the moment I say no, I'm xenophobic or Afrophobic. Right now, they are selling this label to the world, and unfortunately, some woke African Americans, and I'm not saying all African Americans, please do not misunderstand me. Some woke African Americans have attacked us South Africans, saying, why do we hate fellow Africans? And I'm thinking, are you tongue deaf? Just because you don't live here, you don't go through what we go through, doesn't give you the right to have a say in what a sovereignty is trying to do to protect its sovereignty. Woke African Americans, stay the fuck out of South Africa's business. That's what I'm going to say. I'm going to be brutally honest with you. Stay the fuck out of South Africa's business. We know when we came into democracy in 1994, what we were going to shape as a nation. Yes, we decided that we are going to forgive our oppressors and we are going to live together. And yes, they crooked us. They robbed us of so many things that we are currently busy fighting for. But people are saying, oh, we are slaves. We have slave mentality. We love white people. We worship white people. And I'm thinking, there was never a time where Black South Africans have ever been slaves. Go and read your history. No. And the funny part is, the people that are saying we have slave mentality are the slave traders. They are the people that sold fellow Black people to slave traders during the slave trade or the transatlantic slave trade. Same Black people calling us the slaves or having slave mentality. We've never did. Read our history. Read the history of the Zulus. Read the history of the Xhosa people. And then find me a descendant that is of Zulu in the United States, in the Caribbean, in UK, and also in Canada, wherever Black people were being sold to. Find me a Black South African descendant from slave trade. Not even one you will find. But we are being called, oh, we are slaves. Oh, all because we have white people and they want us to chase them away. And the irony of the same Africans, the one they say we hate, they are the ones that right now, as you're watching this video, go to their airports. What are you going to see there? them standing in queues going to various European countries. I repeat, to European countries, because those European countries have what? Greener pastures, as they call it. Is it whatever? We don't know what language that they use, because we are not those people. We are fine here and we are being called lazy. We have built South Africa, us black people. We have built South Africa. And those of you who've been here, you have seen our sweat and tears, even blood. You've seen it. Those of you who've been here, those of you who are still coming here, you will see. But you know what is happening though inside South Africa? And I did say this, the white business owners, they gang up with the illegal African foreigners, and they, the white people, telling the black illegal foreigner that the reason why we're not hiring black South Africans is because they are lazy. They're not saying, no, we are exploiting you, because if we hire a South African, we're going to have to pay minimum wage of 27 Rand 29 cents per hour. But instead, you know what they are paying them? 5 Rand per hour. You do your calculations. I don't have time to calculate how much a dollar. Right now, I think a dollar to the Rand is 18 Rand or 19 Rand. So that is 1 to 19. So you do your calculations there. 27.29 divided by 18. That is the minimum wage in this country. Right? That we need to keep quiet. We can't say anything right now, because South Africans saying no more. I don't know if you know what happened on the 29th of May 2024. South Africa went to a general elections, and I wanted to create a video before and after, because a lot of African Americans that are coming to South Africa in the emails have asked me about the political stability of South Africa going towards elections. And I always said, South Africans, black South Africans, in fact, South Africans as a whole, we do not have an appetite to be fighting each other on the basis of politics. Who favors what party? Who favors what party? We understand and respect that what you support politically is your prerogative. It's your constitutional right. It's your human right also. I have no business in coming and say, why are you supporting this? Why are you supporting that? And then I take out a gun and I shoot you. No, we don't have that appetite at all. Yes, there may be those stupid people who don't understand the concept of politics, and they use that by hurting other people. Simply because maybe they're watching news in the other African countries where every time when they are going to elections, there's going to be an unrest. During the elections, there's going to be an unrest. After the elections, there's even going to be war, because now there is a clear winner. And those that are disgruntled, they'll take to the streets with their machetes and guns, and then blood is shed. We don't have that appetite. When we go to elections, there are campaigns. Political parties come everywhere to campaign. We know individuals know who they are going to vote for. And then we go to elections and we elect the political parties, and then we wait for the results. Once the results are being read out or we see them live. And then the winner is announced, and then life goes on. As a matter of fact, life goes on the moment we finish voting. Our life goes on. And sometimes we even forget that we've gone to elections. Fortunately, the ANC did not get majority of the votes this time around. And we are seeing that these guys are the ones that sold this country. We are in this shit because of the ANC. I said, I'm going to be honest in this video. The question everybody's asking, what government were we having in the past 30 years? If we have they are saying 4 million. We live with these people. It's not 4 million foreign nationals in South Africa. There are at least somewhere in 10 to 15 million of them. The load shedding that we were having. Yes, we may have had infrastructural problems or lack thereof when it comes to power supply. But the little that we had triggered our power stations, where now the government had to come up with a clever way of how to make sure that South Africans are provided with electricity. Why? Because the grid is overwhelmed. The same people that are running away from their countries coming to South Africa, they need to use electricity. Right now, we are having a threat of shortage of water. Right now in Johannesburg, we are being advised to use water sparingly. Why? Because the same people that are here, they need to drink water, they need to bathe, they need to cook, they need to do other things with water. There are so many things that are going on. South Africans, I'm talking now our township economy. Our township economy used to be in what we call tuck shops. These are like a makeshift shop in my yard where I will sell things that are essential. Instead of you hopping onto a taxi and going to town to buy those things, I buy those things in bulk and I sell them from my yard. We call those tuck shops. Came the Bangladeshis, came the Somalis, and came the Pakistanis, and they hijacked that local business. Right now, South Africans are saying, no. We want our original businesses back because South Africans are being pushed asunder. The moment you say, hey, they say xenophobia, Afrophobia. How are we Afrophobic to Pakistanis and what do you call these people, Bangladeshis? They're not even on the African continent. Somalis don't see themselves as Africans. They say we are not Africans. Ethiopians are saying the same thing. We are not Africans. I know it's not all Ethiopians are saying that. We have North Africa who says they are not Africans. But the Pan-Africanists will come and tell us that, oh, we need to have African love. And I'm saying, go to North Africa and convince them of Pan-Africanism as well. Then we are winning that. Oh, no, we're not going to go to North Africa. Oh, it's complicated. How is it complicated in Africa? You need to go and convince them. But no, Pan-Africanism, it is for South Africans to bend backwards. Everyone else, they're not supposed to bend backwards on the African continent. How is it sustainable for South Africa to have everybody here? How is it sustainable? Because the people that we want here are people that are going to contribute positively into the progress of South Africa. You come with your business ideas or you come with your skill, because we are looking for critical skill in South Africa or critical skills in South Africa. We want tourists. We want people who want to come in South Africa and stay and spend their dollars and their pounds and their whatever, so that the economy of South Africa gets to grow and provide for the people of South Africa and for them as well in here. They are welcome. Those are the people that we welcome. It doesn't matter what race they are. We don't give a shit about that. We are looking at the big picture. The big picture is that South Africa is an unequal society, and we are trying to bridge the gap between the rich, the haves, and the have-nots. But the moment when we do that, they're calling us names, especially the woke African Americans who've never even been to South Africa before. Oh, they lost their shit when a white lady won Miss South Africa, as if South Africa has never had black Miss South Africas. I will show you a video right now of all the Miss South Africas. Come and tell me that we are worshippers of white people. I would have thought for an American, you would see and smell a competition. Miss South Africa is a competition. If a black girl did not meet the standard of the competition, why then should you make her win? Simply because she's black? What kind of nonsense and logic is that? Coming from an American, by the way, the most competitive people on earth, it flew over their heads. Mia Leroux won because she met all the standards of the competition. And we've had lots of black Miss South Africas before, since 1993, in fact 1992, to date. One of them, you guys have seen her, Zozibini Tunzi, became Miss Universe in 2019. We had a white girl as well in 2017 who became Miss Universe. from South Africa. But the woke African Americans want to sell to you that Black South Africans are worshippers of white people. We are called a rainbow nation. Whether people believe or like it or not, that's the decision that we as South Africans took, that we are not going to chase anybody out. If you want to leave, fine, go. It's your prerogative to leave the country if you want to. And yes, we do have those white people who don't want to work with us. We are saying, screw you, but make sure that you screwing yourself, you do not come and try us by calling us the K word and abusing us and what. And then there was a case of two black women. One of that two is a Zimbabwean woman, but though she's being sold as a South African woman by those that are trying to throw mud at us, are saying, yeah, they are actually calling us pig food. Simply because two white guys and a black guy killed two black women and fed them to the pigs. And as if we're sitting on our laurels and we're like, oh yeah, well, it's just white people that killed the two black girls. There's nothing we can do about it. They are in court. And I can assure you, they are going to spend the rest of their miserable lives in jail. One of them is 60 years old, and the youngest one is 19 years old. He's going to rot in jail. The way it's being said, is being put out there as if we are not doing anything. We have laws in this country. We have rule of law. And the same people that are saying this nonsense are the people that disrespects the law. And that is why it's not surprising that they think we are sitting on our laurels and just scared of a white man. Call a South African the K word, you are going to prison. The K word is, what do you call this? It's like the N word. That's what white people used to call black people here in South Africa, the K word. I can't say it. It's the same as the N word. There was a white man, there's a video that did the rounds a couple of weeks ago. A white man in a petrol station. I think you guys call it a gas station, but we still call it a garage. I don't know what had happened between himself and the petrol attendant. And this white guy called one of the black guys the K word. The black guy went inside the garage, brought a big stick and began to hit him with it. And all the other ones climbed right on top of him. Yes, it is wrong, according to our law, to assault a person irrespective of what they did. But is that fear of a white man when he was getting beat down? He was screaming like a little girl while they were busy on him, beating him. So all of these things that are being said to us, it really does do something to you. To me, it has done a lot. And I'm thinking, oh my goodness, how am I going to sit down and talk to you guys about what I always talk to you guys about? It's making it so difficult. And I know it's unfair to those of you who still want to come on this journey. And I'm saying, let's not stop this journey. Let's work with those who don't want. Let's work with those that want to work with us. Those that don't want to work with us, fine. Because already the black nation is divided. There are those that are separating themselves and saying, no, I'm not African. And yet they look more African than I do, living in the United States. I'm not an African. I'm an Aboriginal of the United States. And there are those also who are saying, I don't identify with the black culture. Okay, fine. I get that one, because sometimes the black culture can be very confusing. Like right now, they are saying Pan-Africanism is for South Africans to bend backwards. And I am saying, no, we are rejecting that. I've suspended anything that has to do with Pan-Africanism until it is corrected. Until everybody on the African continent agrees that we are all Africans, we brothers and sisters, and we must protect each other, support each other, defend each other. Until such time. Do I think it's going to happen anytime soon? I don't think so. Because there are countries on this continent that are adamant on making sure that they destroy a fellow black person. They kidnap our children. They're drugging our boys. They are killing the future of this country, and they come and inject themselves in our society. And when we say no, 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 it's not going to happen. And then some of you guys, you are using your own immigration laws and you want to impose them on South Africa's immigration laws. In South Africa, it's clear. If you are a foreign national and then you have a baby with a South African woman, then that child becomes a South African. However, if two parents are not South African citizens and have a baby in South Africa, that child is not a South African, but assumes the domicile of the parents, not South Africa. So just because in America, either way, the child becomes an American, we don't use that. For us, it's not about being born on the soil. It's about DNA. It's about DNA. So now many Nigerians felt like, oh, the clever thing for me to do is to impregnate South African girls. Maybe I'll become a South African too. Right now, they are demanding. And imagine, this is the same country with white people that they want us to chase away. They are coming here in droves. As you're watching this video, they are arriving in South Africa. Arriving. We are busy saying, go home, go fix your countries. No, they don't want to. They are demanding to be South Africans right now. Demanding. And it's also not helping us because we're having politicians like Julius Malema. Yeah, you're Julius Malema, the one you guys admire so much. You don't know what we know about him. Every time when I hear somebody, and especially African American, oh yeah, that is a true, we've been quiet. We don't say anything because we are not like that. We are more like the people say, as time goes, you will learn who this person is. Because we believe in time telling. We believe in time revealing. So this is why we keep quiet and leave it to time. Sometimes you leave it to karma. Like, you know what? Let me not be the one that says anything. Just keep quiet. They will learn who this man is. They will learn. But I'm not going to decampaign Julius Malema on this platform. That's not what I'm going to do. But I'm going to leave it for you to end up learning about him. Possibly even go and do a deep dive in research and find out who on earth this guy is. And why his political party lost so many votes in 2024 elections. He was so adamant and he was so sure that he was going to take the government. He was going to be the president, sure of it. But South Africans said, no, that's not going to happen. They reduced him to 9%. A drop in the ocean. His voice is insignificant. South Africans are pushing him back. Those that supported him are saying, fuck off. Right now. And I'm saying the same thing. I am saying the same thing. We just want to clean our country. If you want to come to South Africa, you need to come to South Africa legally. So that if you commit a crime or you do something wrong to our country, we know where to get you. We know when we work with Interpol or with the FBI, we know where if you run away from the country after committing a heinous crime, where to get you. That's all that we want. Right now, it's free for all. And that is why there is a rampant crime rate in South Africa, which now ranks us as the most dangerous country in the world. Yet South Africans are the most peaceful people. We don't hurt anybody. We are not in your countries either, being a nuisance and parasiting on you guys. We are here. When we go to holidays or vacations, it's inside of our country. We don't take an aeroplane and go and to vacate somewhere else. Is it vacation? To vacation somewhere else. We do vacation inside here in South Africa. We bother nobody. If a South African does immigrate, it's because of work. Maybe their job transfer them to a different country. And so they have to move their lives and their families to that particular country. Some South Africans stay there for a year and like, know what? No, I resign from this job. I'm going back home. Because people, South Africans, we are family-oriented people. We don't believe in separations. And I did share with you on this channel that we don't have this thing of an 18-year-old getting kicked out of the house. You leave the house, your mother's house or your parents' house at 18, you are hurting their feelings. They want to leave you in the house when they die. That's who we are. But no, we lazy, we stupid. What else did they say we are? There's so many labels right now that are being thrown at us. And at this point, we don't care. Call South Africans whatever you like. We don't care. But you know what? What we want, we will get. On the 23rd of September, which is this coming Monday, there's going to be a massive march on the streets. That's how we solve issues here. To force the government to do what we want, we take to the streets. We've removed a sitting president by taking to the streets before. Every time when we want service delivery to be done, we take it to the streets. That's the only language our politicians understand. Because some of them are burying their heads in the sand and acting as if they don't hear us, which makes one become suspicious that possibly they may be shareholders in the drug trafficking, human trafficking, and all this stuff that is happening in our country. One is tempted to think that. That is why they are quiet. So we are going to the streets. We are going to demand. There is going to be a list of demands of what we want as South Africans. And what we want right now, we want everybody to go back home, those that are illegal. Emphasis on illegal. If you are legally in South Africa, you are welcome. You can stay. But make sure that your papers are always updated so that you are consistently legal in South Africa. However long you want to stay, stay. But be legal. And those that are taking our jobs, collaborating with white businesses, because the white business doesn't want to adhere to the Labor Relation Act, the labor laws of our country. Right now, restaurants are being raided by Home Affairs, by the SAPS, the police, as well as correctional services, looking for illegal waiters. A lot of them are getting arrested and getting deported. And we like that. We want that because 33.5% of unemployment stats came a few weeks ago. And it said 33.5% of South Africans are unemployed. Not because we are not looking for work. Not because we are not submitting our resumes. We are. But the person that receives these resumes is not a South African citizen. Looks at the resume and say, put it in the bin and call their brother from another country to come and fill that vacant space. And as a result, a South African waits and waits and waits and waits and for years waiting to work. Why? Because these white companies and white restaurants, or I'm talking about owned by white people, they are collaborating because they don't want to pay minimum wage. They're exploiting them. So now they are doing raids because the government is beginning to listen to the people of South Africa. Some of them are saying they are going nowhere. The illegals. They're saying they are going nowhere. And they want the cameras to be rolling so that the world gets to see how xenophobic South Africa is, when in fact, South Africa is cleaning out the dirt. And when I say the dirt, I'm talking about our children being kidnapped, our women being kidnapped and killed, our boys being drugged, and all the other ills that are taking place in our country. Right now, South Africa is known as one of the scamming destination. There's no South African that's doing scamming. They may have recruited some, the stupid ones, that easily get caught when the investigations, when push comes to shove. They arrest the South African. But the one that is illegal, who recruited the South African, just disappears in the grid. And we must keep quiet, because if we say something, we are Afrophobic, we are xenophobic, we are stupid, we are lazy. All these labels, we don't care about them anymore. We absolutely, you're gonna see them in the comment section. those that are going to be writing that you are wasting your time, we are going to get what we want. And what we want illegal foreigners to leave South Africa, no matter where they come from. Black, white, Indian, whatever. We don't care. And I do see some of that gaslighters. What about white illegals? If you know who they are, send Home Affairs. Don't ask me in the comment section. Clearly you know they're illegal Europeans. Expose them. Don't come and gaslight me by saying, what about the white illegals? I know there are white illegals. As a matter of fact, we even have European fugitives. You know why they chose South Africa as a destination to come and hide from the law of their countries? Because our criminal justice system is non-existent, because of our police, because of our borders, because of Home Affairs. These are the things that we are fixing. A person commits a crime in their country, they run to South Africa to hide. And they live here for years. To the shock of my shock, a South American, I think it's a Brazilian man, been living in South Africa for 2 years, wanted in Brazil, not only in Brazil, but wanted in Argentina, wanted in Colombia, basically Central and South America, for human trafficking, for murders and drug manufacturing, was living in South Africa for the past 2 years. The only time he gets apprehended is when he makes a mistake of traveling to Mozambique. When he traveled to Mozambique, the FBI were already waiting for him. And then you ask yourself, where is the South African intelligence when something like this has happened? And no, we must keep quiet because we're Afrophobic and xenophobic when we say something. So no, that time is over. We are no longer going to keep quiet. We are taking our Ubuntu and putting it aside for now. And we're taking things the way we are going to take them by forcing our government to drive everybody home and go fix their countries. Go fix it, because they are the cause of these problems, some of them. When they get the opportunity to vote their government out, they go home and vote them back in and come back to South Africa. Where have you heard that nonsense before? Instead of saying, oh yeah, we got an opportunity to get our country back, let's go vote out this ruling party. No. Instead, they're going there to fight opposition parties, so that that same party that has rendered them to run to South Africa returned in power. Some of them, they say to us, we are landless. We have no land. The same people that say we have no land, our land is in the hands of white people, are here in South Africa. Why aren't they cultivating their lands? Why aren't they cultivating their lands and contributing positively into the economy with their lands? The misconception that black people don't own land is staggering, because we come from provinces and homesteads where we own land. But no, you guys are going to be lied to by Julius Malema, and you're going to buy his story, and you'll be like, what is that happening in South Africa? What is wrong with South Africans? I even heard one woke African American says we need to do a welfare check on black South Africans, simply because a white girl warned Miss South Africa. Mind your own business, bitch. So these are the things that are going on in our country. And it has made it a little bit difficult for me to sit and create videos. I'm going through a lot myself in my own life. A lot. I'm dealing with death. I'm dealing with just so many things. And then on top of that, I still have to be patriotic to my country. They seem to think that when we are being patriotic, we are being hateful. What nation that is not supposed to defend its sovereignty, I want to know. Why should South Africa bend backwards when it comes to our sovereignty? I'm sorry, it's not going to happen. It is not going to happen. And I'm going to play you a video of these white people that hire foreign nationals, how they treat a South African when the South African is employed. I'll just show you these videos. I'll show you the ones of Miss South Africas we've had. And I'll show you of this one girl that caused all this to happen now, the raiding of restaurants. Now they need to move to the security industry because no South African works for the security industry. If they are a drop in the ocean. Trucking business. No South African that drive trucks. And most of these truck companies are owned by South African, black South Africans. But instead of hiring a South African, they go for a illegal foreigner. This is what we are going through, guys. I did say in my early days of this channel that the propaganda is going to get worse and worse before it gets better. Before the world really gets to learn about the people of South Africa. I feel like it's the first time for many to discover us. It's understandable. We are right there at the tip of the African continent, far away from everybody. And now that the light is shining on us, for the first time, some people are learning about us. But they are not learning about us. The decisions that we've taken as a country. The people that we are as a country. They don't want us to hear that. They don't want to hear that. Some are using their own hatred for white people in their countries, and then they want to impose that hate onto black South Africans to hate white people and chase them away. How is that going to help us? How is that going to help us? South Africa is part and parcel of a global community. The moment you kick anybody out of South Africa, whether it's white people kicking black people out, or black people kicking white people out, or Indian people kicking white people out, do you think the global community is just going to fold its arms and say nothing? South Africa will be sanctioned just like that, like how they did with Zimbabwe. Where is Zimbabwe today? Once upon a time, Zimbabwe used to be the richest country on the African continent. It used to be called the fruit or the food basket of Africa. And it was part of the global community. Where is it today? Because they want us to be the exact same as all these other African countries, yet another failed African country. That is what they want to see. They hate what they see, what we are doing as a country. We are doing better and better. Yes, we have challenges. We've never denied our challenges before, and we will never deny our challenges. We will never deny our challenges. But an average South African, when they wake up every morning, they wake up with the hope that today is going to be a better day. We decided as South Africa that we are going to choose to be positively delusional. It's working for us. It's been working for us before everybody started coming here and before the spotlight shone on us. We were just moving along, minding our own business. What is wrong with that? Where did we go wrong by minding our own business? We are solving those that don't want to work with us. They'll throw in Orania. Orania. Yeah. Learn about the South African structure, cultural structures, homelands, and then look at Orania and come and tell me what the difference is. They have the right to form their own community because our constitution recognizes culture. Our constitution recognizes culture. If Zulu people want to create their own Orania, nobody can say anything. If the Xhosas want to do the same thing, nobody can say anything. These are Afrikaners who want to preserve their Afrikaner culture, decided, listen, we are going to form ourselves into this community called Orania. As Zulu people, I'm telling you as a Zulu person, when a Zulu person says no any other tribe, they mean no any other tribe. No any other race, they mean no any other race. So what's the difference between Zulu people and Afrikaners? If Zulu people want to preserve their culture and they don't want to mingle and mix with other blood, and that is okay. But when Afrikaners, because they are white people, they must not. But for me, I always say this, I always look at Orania like an enclosure. It's like Kruger National Park. When you visit South Africa, you will find yourself at Kruger National Park. You will take pictures of the big five. You will take pictures of other animals. You will, all that stuff that you do at Kruger National Park. Now you have an extra trip to take to go and look at a community called Orania. Take videos, take pictures, and then create content about it and talk about them. That's how I look at them. I look at them like an animal enclosure. I'm not saying they're animals, but I look at them as an animal enclosure where people do have the right, because there's freedom of movement in South Africa. You can stand in the outskirts. If they say they don't want this type of people, they don't want those type of people. They don't even want English white-speaking people. Those people. They don't. It doesn't matter whether you are black, white. It doesn't matter if you are black, Indian colored, or you are white. But if you are white, you must be an African. And just because an Afrikaner doesn't also mean you qualify to be part of that community if you have a criminal record. They don't want them. But I don't have to explain myself with all of these things. But I'm just letting you know that all this stuff that you guys throw at us, we are quiet for a reason, because we understand our concept of Rainbow Nation. We understand our concept of democracy, rights, and all of that stuff. If it doesn't sit well with you, why should that be my business? If you are being mistreated by white people in your country, why then you are taking your hatred and want to impose it on me? I didn't grow up in where you grew up. You didn't grow up where I grew up. So I don't know what to tell you guys, honestly. I have no idea. It's upsetting, but at the same time, I feel like the truth needs to be spoken as well. This is who we are as South Africans. We will tell you the truth when the time to tell the truth comes. We will. And we will always stand up for those that are being bullied. We will always stand up for them. Especially after we've said, listen, can we meet halfway? Can we compromise so that both sides benefit? But if one of them rises and becomes a bully, we will call them out. We will use the little resources that we've got to use the international community to say something. We will do that. So, can South Africans be respected? Can y'all respect the decisions that South Africa has taken? Because of those decisions that we have taken, that is why it is easier for you to be able to come here and enjoy our nation, enjoy the things that we have built. We did that without the world interfering. We did that. The lazy ones, the stupid ones, the enslaved ones. We did it. And we would continue to do it. We are not going to leave our country. If there's something to be fixed, we will fix it. You know why? Because South Africans have this one attitude. You can kill some of us, but you can't kill us all. That's the attitude that South Africans have. And if you kill some of us, we will use their blood as a fertilizer to cultivate the progress of this country. And we will remember them, create holidays in their names. Have you seen South African holidays before? I will suggest that you Google and find out how many public holidays that South Africa have. And most of those holidays are in commemoration of those that fell while we were fighting for this country. And we will do it again. We are ready to do it again. We are not afraid. We are not afraid. Because for some reason, it seems like the world has forgotten about us. We will remind them who we are. And my biggest fear is my people, the Zulu people. That's my biggest fear right now, because I'm seeing videos coming from them asking, please don't push us. Because when we do, because when you do, it's going to be difficult for us to retrieve. We will go all the way. That is most of the time is the Zulus and the Xhosas. And I can feel it. That boiling point has arrived. And if the government is not going to read the room, they need to read the room and take over before it's too late. Before it's too late. South Africans, we're also one of those people that say, I will not serve a sentence of a crime I did not commit. I might as well just commit it because already the world knows me as a criminal. Xenophobia and Afrophobia. We're already known to be xenophobic and Afrophobic. These are two words we don't even know what they mean. They don't exist in our vocabulary. Never have, because we are not those people. We have never been those people. If we were xenophobic and Afrophobic, there will be nobody living in this country but South Africans. Nobody but South Africans. But instead, we welcomed everybody into our communities, coming from all over. Some of them don't even want to integrate. Instead, they want to impose. How do you go to somebody else's land and impose your culture on them instead of saying, I'm a visitor. Let me learn their ways. And then teach them mine as well. Not to impose it. Sooner or later, we're going to have more Pakistanis are coming to South Africa and more Bangladeshis are coming to South Africa. They're going to start taking to the streets and calling for Sharia laws and do away with constitution and democracy. They want us to be quiet because the moment we twitch, we're xenophobic, we're Afrophobic. How does this work? How does this work? Every other country is busy deporting illegal foreigners. Not once in the media have I heard them say xenophobia, the word xenophobia or Afrophobia. Britain is busy right now. Ireland is busy right now. Germany is busy right now. Canada is busy right now. Italy is busy right now. Not even one of them have ever been called xenophobic. But when South Africa is doing it, we are xenophobic. We are Afrophobic. We hate people. Hate people. South Africans. Hate doesn't even exist in our vocabulary. We are welcoming, warm, and friendly people. If you've been here, you would have experienced that. But you are being sold a picture that is false about us, and we're supposed to keep quiet. It's not going to happen. We would rather have the world turn its back on us. Fine. We have done it before on our own, and we shall continue on our own. You don't have to love us. You can buy that story. Stand with those people that we are saying they are killing us. They are killing the future of this country. They are kidnapping little girls. How do you take a 5-year-old? How do you take a 5-year-old and make that 5-year-old sleep with grown men and pump that 5-year-old with drugs and then cause such pain and suffering on the mother looking everywhere for her child? And we must not say anything, because the moment we say something, we are xenophobic. We are Afrophobic. Is this how life has become out there? because we don't know all of these things. It's new to us. We are no longer going to keep quiet. The march is happening on the 23rd of September. I'll be there. I will be there to enhance my patriotism, defend the sovereignty of this country. We've put down the tools in building our country for now. We will pick them up again once everybody is gone. And we will continue to build the Republic of South Africa. Whether you come or you don't come, that's your right. That's absolutely your right. We're still okay. We would love to have you. We would love to see you stay with us and enjoy our country. Subsequently, someday, maybe even become part of us. We would love that. But we need to follow the law. Every country has its own rule of law. Every country has its own systems, and they need to be respected, especially when you are not of that country. These are the things you're supposed to learn before you even go there. What laws I am not supposed to break when I go to South Africa? What law as a South African I'm not supposed to break when I go to the United States? But seemingly, no, we're not allowed to do that. We're not allowed to implement our laws. Instead, they are corrupting it and corrupting the people that work to protect the people of South Africa. Greedy, treasonous people that work in our departments, government departments, police, home affairs, the border patrol controller managers. They are the ones that caused this. ANC caused this. EFF caused this. They did. Do what you will with what I just said. But I just thought, let me come here and just say a few things as to why I haven't been here and why it's so difficult to sit and talk about the things that we always talked about, because they're suspended right now. Suspended. At least on my side. But I still would love to see you guys, those that want to come here. Still open to meeting you. Still open to even have this conversation. If you feel differently, I would like to hear from you. What is it that you feel different about a South African standing up for its sovereignty, its rule of law, and respect? I would like to hear that. I would like to hear from you what's different about your views when a 5-year-old is kidnapped and sold to grown men. When a teenage girl is taken. Oh, I forgot to mention the ritual killings. If you don't know what ritual killings are, again, go to Google and find the country that practices this the most on the African continent. It's now happening in South Africa, something that we don't know. I would like to hear your different view on that. How is it all right? How is it okay? And why South Africans should embrace that. Embrace drug trafficking and manufacturing. Embrace kids being kidnapped, boys being sold drugs, hijackings, killings for what reason? House breakings, all the other crimes that have been committed in South Africa. Please, I would like to have that conversation with you. Tell me how or why we should embrace all of that. How does that make us? What is the synonym for Afrophobia and xenophobia? I don't know. All we know as South Africans is Ubuntu. All of us. The white people that are working with black people, they have Ubuntu. They understand the principle of Ubuntu. Black people in general in South Africa have Ubuntu. That's what we know. We know nothing about xenophobia. We know nothing about Afrophobia. We know nothing about hate. Nothing. But what we will do is defend our country. And nobody's going to tell us what to do. Nobody. The Pan-Africanists. Fuck you.